Okay, well, hello everybody, and we're here again to talk about National Libraries Week. And we've got Mia with us here, who is one of our library assistants, and we're going to focus on really how Mia's job changed with the lockdown and all the different things that you've been doing over this period of time. And actually, we were just saying, weren't you, your job has changed yet again. So lots has been happening. So Mia, thanks ever so much for joining us. It's really good to talk about it. So, library assistant, before all of this happened, before COVID came along, what was your daily task and your job as a library assistant?
Yeah, so a lot of what we do is based on book loans, so helping people with loans, recommendations, that kind of thing, but also helping on the council side of things. So if people had, they needed any help with applications or had any general inquiries, then we would help kind of signpost them to wherever they needed to go. So yeah, that was the general job overall. Yeah,
so really heavy on the old customer relations side of things and customer contacts.
Exactly.
I know
mostly
you've got those
face-to-face.
skills. Yeah, which I suppose is why when it went to lockdown, I know the libraries were chosen to take on the shielding program. So I know you were part of that. What happened then? You locked down, and how did your job change?
So basically, we started the initiative of the shielding calls. So it was everyone who was on the vulnerable list during coronavirus. They were put onto this shielding list. And we kind of had a quota of people to call every day to check in on them, see how they were doing, if they'd had any symptoms of coronavirus. And the main thing was just to provide them with any kind of support they might need. So particularly with vulnerable or elderly people, they were having a lot of trouble at the start of lockdown with getting food supplies or getting their medication because everything locked down so hard so quickly. And so we were there to signpost them to volunteer groups who would help them to get those essential supplies. So it was really rewarding, to be honest, to be able to help those people in such a significant way. And also we were just kind of there for people emotionally who were struggling with lockdown as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it must have been, a huge change after, I know you were helping people anyway, weren't you, with council services and with books, but to actually sort of, prescriptions and food, you're really talking major stuff there.
It's very different. Yeah, bit of a shock to the system, but it was really rewarding process for sure.
And what about else? Now, I know that we worked, from my perspective, we've been working really hard on an online program and trying to put stuff out on our Facebook and Instagram platforms. And I know that you became involved in that as well. So what about that side of your job?
Yeah, it was really fun to be able to help out with some of the social media posts that you guys did in terms of like book recommendations and like the Desert Island books and that kind of thing. That was really nice to do. I also helped out by like creating craft videos because, as you know, we have a lot of craft sessions usually in person in the library, and it was really, really fun to put together, actually.
Yeah, well, can I just say they were absolutely brilliant, and check them out.
Thank you.
I mean, the way you had the paper turning over, is that a skill you already had, or did you have how did you kind of get those out on the system? I mean, they were amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you so much. That's really kind. Yeah, I kind of had a little bit of experience in the past just playing around with like making videos and stuff.
And I guess the upside to all these downside things is, like you said, you were able to develop that skill there, and your skills with the shielded calls. So I suppose some changes. I mean, overall, how do you feel about the job changes that happened in the lockdown? Overall, was it a positive experience for you?
I think it was, like I said, it was definitely a shock to the system. But I think it challenged me in different ways than I'm used to being challenged. I think especially with the shielding calls, sometimes you would have some very difficult calls, but it in a good way, because you were helping people to resolve really difficult issues, and that has always been really rewarding. So and like you said, like being able to develop more of a skill, like with the editing, I got to learn a lot of new things in regard to that. So I'd say it was positive overall, for sure.
No, of course, it's changed again. So what's happening?
It has. So now we're doing a select and collect service at Maidenhead Library. So you can go onto the online catalogue, reserve whatever book you want. So you can have a look through the books on there as well. Reserve what you want, and then we email people to tell them when their books are ready, and we help them that way. So a lot of our job now is like dealing with getting together orders and stock. It's much less face-to-face than it was.
Do you miss
Yeah,
that?
and
You miss that contact? I know you love the books. I know you're an avid reader.
yes.
Contact.
I do, yes. I think it's hard not being able to help people in the same way as we used to in our old job.
You've got your book focus instead. And
Exactly, which is really nice in another way, but yes, it's
and
just
talking
strange.
about that, as we are a library service, we thought at the end of these interviews, we just ask you what you're reading, what you like, would you recommend it, and what book are you reading at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, really early in the year, I started reading this book called The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. And so I thought, oh, I really want to read something else of hers. She doesn't have a lot of other adult fiction. So I thought I'll read her stuff for children. And it's just been absolutely fantastic. I started reading A Way Past Winter. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 3/4 of the way through-ish now. And she just writes so beautifully. I love the setting. I love the kind of the magic side of things, but it's not too heavy fantasy. It's quite a nice mix of realism and fantasy. I'm really enjoying it, so I would massively recommend that book.
Absolutely. I mean, I have read both those books you mentioned, and That Way Past Winter, we've got it in our children's reading group collection, and it is always really popular with schools. And as you said, I think you said beautiful. I agree. She writes beautifully, doesn't she? But really accessibly as well. Really, for people that aren't even great readers, it's a really good story, isn't it? Really, she's a fantastic.
Definitely. It's really like it's very imaginative, and it allows you to kind of imagine the setting really clearly, but not in a way that's kind of a barrier to your understanding at all. It's not overly descriptive. It's like I think it's perfect writing, to be honest. Yeah, it's really great.
Mine. So Way Past Winter, and also The Mercies, we've got loads and loads of copies of those in the libraries as well, haven't we? So when you're thinking you need some inspiration, those nights drawing in, The Mercies is
definitely, absolutely.
But Mia, thanks ever so much for talking to us, and it's been really
no problem.
That over the lockdown, all this activity and all these changes were going on, and you should be really proud of yourselves. Fantastic. So thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you. So should you guys, and thanks for having me today as well.
Thank you.
Right, thanks.